you can just put this, go ahead and just put this down, it'll be just fine. But if it's not, if it's a tight floor, you got to get that surface open. That's just all there
What
is
I'm
to it.
going to do is I'm going to run over it. I've got a one of the sanders with the vacuums on it that looks like a buffer that's got the 3 pads.
Okay.
And I'm going to use real heavy grit.
Yeah.
Because all I'm basically going over it for is just to clean it.
Yeah. Well, you need to clean it, but you also need to create a profile.
Yeah.
If it doesn't have a profile.
And that coarse sandpaper should do that, shouldn't it?
You go through a lot of it, but yeah, it should. We use diamond. It's a diamond sandpaper basically, and it's called diamond brushes. That's what we use. It makes it to a 25 grit surface. But anyway, what you'll do is you will mix part A and part B together. What I do with this is because in part B, you'll see that you get a little bit of sediment at the bottom.
Right.
You need to. What I do is I take part B into a bucket, I dump it all out, I cut part B open, and I scrape all that stuff off, dump it in my bucket, and mix it till it completely mixes through. Once you get it mixed through on part B, you can mix part A, part B together, mix it until it's completely mixed together, which 2 or 3 minutes of mixing, you're just fine, and then roll it on the surface. I paint this stuff on. I don't try to apply it, liberally. I really stretch that stuff out. You should be able to get 600 square feet out of this. That's what it says on the back here. So you should be able to get 600 square feet out of this. And I did sell you enough of this to do that, believe it or not. Anyway, so you'll have to do that on every one of them. Yeah, sorry that happens, but it just happens. It's kind of a pain in the rear end, but it just happens. Get it all mixed together, you'll be just fine. That's all your solid, so you do need that. Now, once you're doing this, though, in your mind you have to preset. I have 4 to 6 hours to get my epoxy down. Okay, at the 4 hour mark, you'll be able to basically reach in. It's maybe just a little tacky. If not, it won't be tacky. You're fine. 4 to 6 hour window. At the 4 to 6 hour window, whenever you decide to put your epoxy down, I take my metallic pigment, and I mix it in part A, and I'll completely thoroughly mix it in part A. Before you mix your hardener in with it, mix it all in part A. Measure everything. Measure your part A and your part B before you mix it all together. Okay, because manufacturer, they typically get it 4 parts of A or however it is on the specs, but a little bit more, a little bit less on that B side can cause catastrophic failure. It has to be dead on. It has to be right. How many parts of A to how many parts of B. It has to be on.
Okay, now we're not talking about this anymore.
Not talking about this. This is your primer. That is it. We're talking about your epoxy here.
Okay.
In a perfect world, you should be able to take this and dump it in here and mix it, and everything be fine. It's not a perfect world. We all know that. So, like I said, you need to be measuring how much of A you have to how much of B you have, and you'll use anything that you want, but I use mixing containers like this because it gives you how much of each. And again, like I said, the easiest way to do it is take your metallic pigment and mix in part A. These big ones here are for a 3-gallon kit. So all you have to do with this is dump this into your part A and mix it around completely. You can hand mix it, which is preferred, or you can mix it with a drill. Whenever you mix it with a drill, mix it really slow. Don't whip any air into it. That's the number one thing you don't want. That's why you're priming. You're priming so you don't have gassing of air bubbles into your epoxy. So if you use a drill, use it very slowly. Don't whip air into it. They make a mixer that I like to use. It looks like a squirrel cage fan. It looks like that, and it really helps blend those epoxies or blend the metallics into that part A of epoxy. And instead of giving you streaks, sometimes if you don't blend it all the way, it'll streak. which gives the floor character, but some people just don't like that. So that's what I like to use. So anyway, measure everything, part A to part B. Mix your metallics in to
Part A.
part A.
Before you add part B.
Exactly. I always also, whenever I'm pouring out or mixing everything, and I think I sold you a few of these too, is I always strain my epoxies every single time. And the reason why I strain my epoxies is to keep the debris out. In the bucket, sometimes you'll get a little bit of congealed ring around it. You just don't want that on your floor. You don't want to look out and see a big lump in your nice, beautiful glass floor. So, quick insurance is just to strain it, just like you would a paint. Strain your epoxies. I always wear gloves to make it quicker. Wrap this around the bucket. Pour your part. It's just your part A. You don't have to screen part B. But just wear gloves and you can strain it real quick. No big deal. All your junk will be, and you may not have any. I haven't seen any in a long time, but just in case, that's why you have your strainers. Okay, now once you mix part B into your metallic A, it's go time. It's time to get on the ball. You mix it for 3 to 5 minutes in the bucket. You just keep mixing it. Make sure it all gets mixed together, whether you're using a drill, which is not preferred because it can mix air into it. It's preferred to hand mix. But either way you do, it's fine. Like I said, I use a drill. I don't like sitting there stirring epoxies forever. I think everything gets mixed out. Whenever I cook, I use mixers. I don't like to mix my hand. I use mixers. It gets mixed better. I just don't whip air into it. Once you've mixed it to that 3 to 5 minute mark, you need to be timing it. Probably 4.5, 5 minutes. That's where I like to do it. You take that bucket, you go right to where you want to start, and in ribbons, you just start pouring it out. You want your epoxy is going to set up 95% faster in your bucket than it is on your floor. I mean, your epoxy will be hard as a rock in 10 minutes in your bucket. It will be soft for 4 hours on your floor. It's because of how much weight is in that bucket. It chemically reacts faster when there's much more concentrated. Once you get on your floor, what you will do is you will start gauge raking it. Easiest, fastest way. You'll start gauge raking it all the way around. Have a chip brush or something, that way you can get into those corners real nice. But yeah, just keep pulling your material back. You know, once you get it covered, just start pulling your material back, and that's how you're going to get the coverage that you need, is by using this. Once that's down, because you're going to be on spikes, it gets slippery, very, very slippery. So be very, very careful, be cautious, keep it nice and slow. On your spikes, if you're going to be on spraying, what I would do is I'd mix all in different containers and different sprayers. I'd have a sprayer for each color that you're going to be spraying. Mix it with acetone. Pour, just a couple scoopfuls of your color in. Make sure it's mixed, and all you're going to do, I take a bucket and I pump it up, spray inside my bucket, then I pull it out as I'm spraying. And that way it keeps it from blobbing. So you want a nice, good, fine mist, and you're just going to spray. You're just going to spray quick. That's all you're going to do. Each color. You need to get that done, before the 30-minute mark of laying your first thing down. Because after 30, 45 minutes is where things start to set up and get hard, and you don't want to mess with it anymore. So basically, you're going to be standing there waiting with your colors, waiting for an area this size to get down. Once it gets down, you're gonna and they back roll it. Once it gets down and you back roll, you're gonna start spraying. So sorry, let me back up here. Put this down. Have a roller, and you're just gonna back roll it. That's gonna take all your lines and everything out. Just back roll it, and once it's back rolled, that's whenever you hit it with your
colors.
Now there's no trialing.
Well, how we got that effect over there is we took a steel trowel and we popped it up and down. There's no way anybody's going to sit there with a steel trowel and pop 2,200 square feet every inch of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be tough. So
You just let it do
Yeah,
its
yeah.
thing.
You gotta let it really just do its thing. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely. But as soon as you spray your color on, you're done. You don't want to roll it again. You want to make sure all that stuff is done before you spray your color, because what'll happen is that if you get going too fast, you back roll it, or whoever's going to back roll it. You spray your color and you go, I missed a spot way out there, like back rolling or putting material in, and you reach over there to back roll. You're going to back roll into that spray that you just put down. You'll see a rolling line, which it'll settle out and do something different because it's epoxy. It settles for 4 hours, but you will see it. It will be a different spot in the floor
If you go back.
if you go back and try to back roll it again. So make sure all your corners and all your edges and everything are done before you spray. That's literally the last step. As soon as you spray it, you're done with that area. You don't want to touch it again.
Okay. And how do you get into the corners? With what? Like a brush?
Yeah, just like a chip brush, you just push material into it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's no right or wrong way unless you're just pulling a whole lot of material over there.
Yeah.
You just want it to cover. That's all you want it to do.
And,
Well, and I shouldn't have any problem because my sheetrock is about this far off the floor, and I haven't put any trim down yet.
Okay.
So I can pretty much get all the corners with that right there.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, you should. Yeah, you shouldn't have any issues at all.
and how thin are we talking about this? I mean,
This is going to set it down to a 16th.
okay.
That's what that's going to set it to. Yeah, all your spacing in here, that's where you want it to set. So whenever you push material up to your edges, make sure that you're grabbing that material before it reaches underneath there. So because you'll waste a whole lot of material if you just push a bunch of material.
Underneath
Oh,
the
okay.
So
sheetrock,
just
yeah.
kind of get it,
Close.
around your edges. Just move slow, and right before it goes underneath that edge, you grab it and pull it back out. That way, you're not wasting all the material underneath your sheetrock.
So get it done with that as quick as you can. Should have somebody going behind you, back rolling right after you get through.
Yeah,
that?
yeah. One guy can be placing it with this, and one guy could be back rolling, and then the other person could be you could be spraying. Yeah, but the person putting it down needs to be relaying to whoever's mixing. Mix me another one.
Yeah.
As soon because you have to think they got to make sure everything's measured out right. Add their metallics, blend their metallics, make sure everything is equal. Whenever everything's level, mix it in together, and then 5 minutes of mixing. So it's one of those deals. Basically, you have a bunch of wide open areas. Okay, if it's just a bunch of wide open areas, as soon as one bucket's out, they need to be mixing another one because you're gonna be able to put this stuff down pretty quick. You're gonna be doing one kit's gonna cover 225 square feet. That's not a whole lot. So, yeah. But yeah, whoever's putting that down needs to be in charge of basically everything that's going on.
Okay. And once you start pouring it on there, to do this, back roll it, and get your colors on there, you've got approximately 30 minutes.
Yeah, you have 30 minutes. You have 30 minutes of playtime.
We're old. We can barely get out of bed in 30 minutes.
That's per kit. 30 minutes per kit.
Right. Well, if we're gonna do it all with no stopping places, we're pretty much just gonna have to get after it, stay after it till it's done.
Right. Right. Absolutely. That's why I was asking if you had a joint, if you had a saw joint, because then once you get to that saw joint, it's okay. We can take a break for a minute or however long, and kind of watch it do its thing. But if you don't have a saw joint, you can't. The epoxy's butting up to each other. You'll see a line. They don't melt into each other because there's no solvent. There's no solvent in order for them to melt.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. So I think I got all that down. Now, what kind of sprayer do you use for the colors? With the acetone?
I use these acetone sprayers. Any other sprayers, it'll blow up on you. So I use these little handheld acetone sprayers. And literally, whenever you're dipping your color in, you're gonna fill it up full of acetone. You know, you're doing 2,200 square feet, so I'd fill the whole thing up with acetone to to 1,500 ounces, and just with a spoon or something, just take a couple spoonfuls of your color. You don't have to. Doesn't take very much to tin it.
Okay.
Yeah, and then make sure it's good and tight. Shake it up real well, pump it real good in a trash can bucket outside. Go outside and spray. Make sure it's coming out nice fine mist. And whenever you spray, you'll start in your bucket, pull it out, and I just kind of circle pattern. You know, at some point you're going to stop, put it back. You know, it'll drip, but make sure whenever you stop, you pull back into your bucket, let go, and then you'll have to pump it back up. Start in your bucket, come back out.
Okay.
That's why I said I'd have these things ready. I'd have all of them ready. That way, whenever, per section of doing this, you can spray.
Finish it and be done.
Put one in your pocket, grab your other one, start spraying. And that way you're done with that area. You're not waiting for the whole house to get done before you walk back in and start spraying, because where you started over there is going to be setting up.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So, you mix your primer, put it down, wait 4 to 6 hours.
Right. Yeah, mix your primer. Get that off the bottom.
Alright.
Mix your primer. Prime the floor.
And you're just rolling it.
Just rolling it on. Absolutely.
And when you go to the next step, you're pulling it back with that, and then you're back rolling it.
With a roller.
And as soon as you get that on there, the spray's got to go for the different color.
Or where you're standing with those spikes or whatever, it just fills in.
That'll level out. Yes. Well, and plus, you're gonna be rolling this way. You're gonna be back rolling. Whenever you're walking your spikes, you're gonna be covering those up with your back roll too.
Yeah, but the sprayer.
Right. No. Yeah. You'll be fine then.
Oh, okay. That's what I meant.
Yeah, as long as you do it within the time frame, it'll
Exactly.
little holes where the spikes are, fill back in.
Okay. That's what I need to know.
Yeah. Over this whole thing, we rolled a spike roller over it, just to play around with a spike roller, and it was kind of funny. It left a print, and they just leveled all that. They all leveled back out. You'll be just
They
fine.
did? Okay.
At what point is it you have to watch for little air bubbles that you might have to torch out?
Well, the deal is with 2,200 square feet, you shouldn't have to. This primer here is what should be eliminating all of your air bubbling. This should be eliminating that. But again, it's one of those deals. It's going to be from you can get air bubbles from the time you lay it down till the time it gets hard. I mean, air bubbles are air bubbles. It's something that can't be helped in this area. Besides this, like I said, this right here should eliminate them. Should eliminate them. I mean, I can't guarantee it's going to eliminate all of them, but it's going to eliminate the majority of them.
My next question, the grinder sander y'all use, can I look at one of them right quick?
Absolutely.